Hey guys, Elisa Mousy here, and welcome to the first Dragon Age Origins Awakening Codex video. First off, real quick, I want to apologize for this going up late. I've had a lot of stuff going on. I might post a life update this weekend, I'm not sure. But also, with the Codex entries, especially with the creatures, some of them, maybe a lot of them, are going to be stuff that we are already familiar with. I also want to just get through those, because I know those. I want to mark them as done. They might be stuff that we're familiar with from the main game, but for all we know, we might learn more about them in Awakening and get more information. So let's start off with creatures. The Disciples. The Disciples are darkspawn that have become sapient after some sort of process of awakening, after which they choose their own names. They are cunning, powerful, and hold influence over non-awakened darkspawn. Well, that's not good. It's also late. I'm recording this right before posting it, so I apologize for any yawning. Genlock. These are the most common darkspawn in the underground. Stocky and tough, Genlocks are notoriously difficult to kill even by magic. Alphas. In any group of Genlocks, there is usually one who is dominant. As the tallest, strongest, and smartest of their kind, Alphas serve as a sort of commander, directing or bullying others in combat. Emissaries. The most intelligent of the Alphas become gifted sorcerers with many abilities akin to blood magic. These are the emissaries, and they usually only appear during a blight. And these being the most common darkspawn in the underground makes sense based on what we learned in Origins. If you missed that, the different types of darkspawn come from different humanoids. And Genlocks come from dwarves. So it makes sense that they're in the underground. Ghoul. What the blight does not destroy, it corrupts. Any creature infected with the darkspawn taint that does not have the good fortune to die outright becomes a ghoul, a twisted shadow of itself. The name originally comes from men, whether human, dwarven, or elven, who became tainted, usually while being held as a captive food source by the darkspawn. They would turn cannibal, preying on other captives, slaves to the will of the archdemon, driven mad by pain. During a blight, the corruption of the darkspawn spreads through the wilder areas of Thedas, and infects the animals found there. This produces grotesque, enraged bears called berserkarn, as well as blight wolves. Fortunately, ghouls rarely survive their corruption for long. Hurlocks. Taller than their Genlock cousins, Hurlocks are roughly of human size, but are possessed of considerable strength and constitution. The shock troop of the darkspawn, a single berserking Hurlock, can often be a match for numerous opponents at once. They are known to adorn themselves with roughly carved tattoos to keep track of their kills and deeds, though it is unknown whether or not there is a uniform standard to these markings. Alphas. Alpha Hurlocks are more intelligent and more skilled fighters, often serving as commanders or even generals. Hurlock emissaries have also been known to appear during a blight. These darkspawn are the only ones recorded as being capable of human speech and are often capable of employing magic. See, did the capable of human speech... did that come up in the main game? I don't remember. I might be really dumb and they did, and I'm just forgetting, but I don't recall the Codex of the main game telling us that. Ogres. Towering over their darkspawn kin, the massive ogres are a rare sight on the battlefield. Traditionally, they only appear during a blight, but some records claim that ogres have been spotted in the deep roads hunting alone or in small groups. At least one report by the Grey Wardens claims that an ogre was spotted alone in the Korcari Wilds in 919 Dragon, though it was weakened and easily dispatched. Up to 100 of these creatures can accompany a darkspawn horde at any one time during a blight, often using their great strength to burst through fortifications and demolish the front lines of the opposing army, as we experienced firsthand in the Darkspawn Chronicles. They use brute force to charge their enemies like bulls, slam the ground with their fists to shake enemies off their feet, and hurl giant rocks into the face of oncoming foes. Melee can be difficult against a giant that snatches a warrior up in one hand, crushing the light out of him or beating him into oblivion with the other hand. The nimble can try to wiggle his way free, or an ally can attempt an array of stunning blows on an ogre to free the comrade in danger. Grey Warden lore urges caution when slaying an ogre. Unless it is ensured that they have received a major wound to the head or the heart, it is possible that they are lying dormant and will regenerate to full health within a matter of minutes. During a blight, most Grey Wardens recommend burning all Darkspawn to ashes. Dead ogres in particular. Wonder if that's gonna come back to bite us. Did it? When we returned to Ostagar, was that ogre playing dead? Or was that the corpse that we took? I don't know. I don't remember. Shriek. Scholars call these tall, lean darkspawn the Sharlock, although they are more popularly known as shrieks because of the ear-splitting cries they emit in battle. Many tales exist of soldiers being unnerved by the sounds of approaching shrieks, cloaked in darkness and never seen until the moment they strike. As horrors of the night, shrieks are renowned for their incredible speed and agility, as well as their stealth. They are the assassins of the Darkspawn, penetrating the enemy lines and striking their targets using long, jagged blades attached to their forearms to rip their opponents to shreds in seconds. They have been known to employ poison, often drawn from their own blood, and have demonstrated cunning group tactics when attacking in numbers. Culture and history. These are usually the long ones. The port city of Amaranthine. Where are we at? Okay. Outside of Ferelden, the city of Amaranthine is now synonymous with the Arling herself, but before the Orlesian invasion, it was only a modest fishing village, despite a deep port well suited to commerce. At that time, few other kingdoms had any need to trade with the Ferelden barbarians. The city changed rapidly when the Orlesians came. They built temporary docks to accommodate ships packed with chevaliers, and for a time, Amaranthine was the capital of occupied Ferelden. The Ban of Amaranthine became one of the wealthiest nobles in the kingdom, as goods like wool were leached from the city's swollen ports. During the liberation, the fleeing Orlesians looted the city but left it otherwise unscarred. She recovered quickly. Ironically, Amaranthine's current prosperity is the legacy of Orlesian occupation. Do not share that opinion with the locals, mind. From Annals of the Northern Ferelden by Brother Badine, Chantry Scholar. Oh! Oh! And now we're the Arl of the area, and we're from Orlais. Oh no! Oh, that's not a good look. That's really not a good look. The House of Amaranthine. The House of Amaranthine are one of the oldest noble families in Ferelden. Their lineage traces to the time of Calenhad, when Elias Howe was one of the first freeholders to follow Calenhad. Or Calenhad. Calenhad? I don't remember. I don't remember a lot, I'm so sorry. During the occupation, Arl Tarleton Howe, Rendon Howe's father, threw his lot in with the Orlesians. After several bitter battles with rebels, the town of Harper's Ford, an outpost governed by Tarleton Howe, fell to the Cuslins of Highever. Tarleton hanged. Oh. If you've played the Human Noble Origin, you know. Rendon brought the Howe family over to the side of Merrick Theron in Logain MacTier's rebellion. Rendon's bravery at the Battle of White River, fighting alongside Bryce Coonsland, earned back his family's honor. When King Merrick took the throne in Free Ferelden, Rendon Howe was decorated for his service. From Annals of Northern Ferelden by Brother Badine, Chantry Scholar. I wonder if we're going to meet him like we met Brother Genetivi. Surfacer Dwarves. Cloudgazer, Stoneblind, Skyer, these are how dwarves describe their surfacer cousins. It's traditional to snort these words with disdain. A dwarf who goes topside forfeits his caste, his house, and the favor of his ancestors. Once he sets foot on the surface, he is no longer welcome in Orzammar. Still, in recent years, a great many dwarves have moved to the surface. Some are casteless and have nothing to lose. Others believe they have something to gain. Some think it's only a matter of time before Orzammar falls to the Darkspawn. Then there are the merchant caste dwarves with their frightful flair for business. I met one who nearly talked me into buying my own hat. I dare say most merchants don't give a nugget about losing their caste or the favor of their ancestors. Not the way they're compensated. From Tales from Beneath the Earth by Brother Genesini! Our boy! The Great Strife. Worn inscriptions deep in the bowels of Vigil's Keep tell of the Avar clan that settled here, with our warriors unmatched in skill and strength, and here we settled in the caves carved by the hand of Korth the Mountain Father. Rudan, shaman of the people, turned from the gods who had ever sheltered him. In his grief, he destroyed the gifts of the Mountain Father and brought us low. The First Warden. The nominal leader of our order is the First Warden, but you can expect little assistance or guidance so far from the Anderfels. Even those close to Weishaupt learn to suffer alone. The murmurs are true. The First Warden is often embroiled in the politics of the Anderfels and has little opportunity to consider worldly matters. I would like to believe it is a matter of survival, not of political self-interest. Know that your mission is vital. You carry the hopes of our order. If the highest among us holds noble titles outside of Anderfels, perhaps we will be better suited when the next blight comes, as we all know it must. A confidential report for the Warden Commander. Vassals and their liege. Some kingdoms rigidly define the rights of vassals and their duty to their liege. In Ferelden, a relatively new kingdom, the Arls and Arlessas theoretically command their Arlings, bands, and lords. In practice, those lessers often zealously maintain their independence. Some Ferelden vassals must be goaded instead of ordered, swayed, not ruled. Vassals own military obligations to their liege, yet often deny even sworn oaths and signed contracts. In contrast, the vassals expect their liege's protection despite provocation otherwise. A successful Ferelden liege applies force, persuasion, and duplicity in equal measure, from a guide to statecraft published anonymously. Probably a good move. The Vigil. Vigil's Keep is one of the oldest settlements in Ferelden, older than Denerim and Gwaren. The barbarians who battled the Tevinter Imperium chose this location for a fortress so that their warning fires would be visible at a great distance when Tevinter ships neared the coast. The Vigil has seen battle in every major invasion of Ferelden. Tevinters, rival barbarian clans, and Orlesians have all held her battlements. The Vigil was the first fortress to fall to the Orlesians and the last to be freed. The cellar beneath Vigil's Keep retains traces of the Avar barbarians. To the Avars, the Vigil was both a fortress and a holy site. The cellars bear monuments to their gods, heroes, and their rare military victories. Characters. Anders. Anders is an apostate mage. I don't care how many times they say apostate, I'm saying apostate. He was arrested by Templars who intended to cart him back to the Circle Tower. Vigil's Keep was to have been a short stop on their long journey. Unfortunately, the keep was attacked just after the group arrived, and Anders was found standing over the bodies of his captors. He insists they were killed by Darkspawn. Didn't we see one on fire? Darkspawn have emissaries, technically, and we learned from the Darkspawn Chronicles that they can use Fireball, so it's a possibility. Regardless, Anders joined Dissa to defeat the Darkspawn in Vigil's Keep. Afterwards, Anders was recruited into the Grey Wardens. He survived the joining. The Warden Commander gave Anders a kitten as a gift. Anders stowed the kitten, Sir Pouncelot, in the folds of his robe. Anders takes great pride in his appearance and enjoys fine things. Oghren. Let's see what this has to say about Oghren. Oghren was once married to Branka, Orzamar's sole living paragon, but she left him to search for the Anvil of the Void. Oghren took to drink, then accidentally killed another warrior in a drunken proving match. For this mistake, Oghren was stripped of his house and barred from bearing weapons. For a warrior, worse than exile. When the Grey Wardens called for aid from the dwarves, Orzamar's throne was contested and only a paragon could settle the dispute. Oghren, hoping to find his wife, offered to guide the party through the deep roads. But Branka's obsession with the Anvil of the Void had driven her mad. The Wardens helped choose a new king, and Oghren, having lost everything, left with the Wardens. When the Blight was ended, Oghren settled down with his old flame Felsi and had a child. But domestic bliss did not last, and Oghren traveled to Vigil's Keep in hope of becoming a warden himself. Ogren survived the joining. His extensive experience drinking bitter swill likely helped. Is that why he didn't pass out? Ogren's passion for a strong drink hasn't waned. So that's why he wound up there. I'm still wondering. At the end of this, I might do another thing and import Kahari just to see what happens if he knows us. I might do that as like a bonus at the end. Mary. Mary was a knight in Ferelden's army until agreeing to join the Grey Wardens. She can think of no greater honor nor better way to serve the nation and is eager to undertake the joining. Sadly, Mary's enthusiasm did not save her. She perished in the joining like so many others before her and was laid to rest as a Grey Warden. Nathaniel. Nathaniel Howe is the son of the disgraced Arl Rendon Howe and among the last scions of the once great family. He blames the Grey Wardens for his father's death and had intended to assassinate the Warden commander. Upon seeing Vigil's Keep, however, his childhood home, Nathaniel decided to simply reclaim some family treasures. The Wardens caught Nathaniel breaking in. Dissa, impressed to hear that it took 4 Wardens to capture Nathaniel, invoked the right of conscription, making the young Howe a Warden recruit. Nathaniel undertook the joining and survived. In a chance encounter with the Howe's old groundskeeper, Nathaniel learned that his sister Delilah had married a shopkeeper in the city. Nathaniel was eager to find her. Nathaniel is a sensible fellow who values practical gifts over useless trinkets. Seneschal Varel. Varl sounds better. Varl had spent his life defending Amaranthine. When Rendon Howe was Arl, Varl briefly became Seneschal of Vigil's Keep, but he repeatedly objected to Howe's orders and was demoted to lower and lower ranks. Nonetheless, he continued to serve with defiance. When Howe's acts turned more sinister, Varel secretly sheltered those in need and used what little power he had to counteract the Arl's atrocities. Soon Varel was languishing in the dungeon awaiting execution, but Howe died first. When the Grey Wardens took over Amaranthine, the Order reappointed Varel as Seneschal. I guess I'm going back to calling him Varel. I don't know. Although Varel is not a warden himself, his position as chief administrator of the Warden's lands makes him privy to many secrets of the Order, including the joining ritual. This rare honor is a testament to his character. Then we have 2 notes. This isn't going to be as long as I thought it was. My Lord Howe, some of the men are not pleased with your plan. They will incite others against you. For the plan to succeed, our forces must be united. If word gets out, if even one of them informs Cousland, it will be your head on a plate. I say this with all due respect, sir, your captain, Lowen. Lowen, we cannot afford an insurrection. Put any troublemakers in chains. Do whatever it takes to weed them out. Whatever it takes, Lowen. Do not fail me. Arl Rendon Howe. Okay. Before I go, I feel like I should give context. Just because this is kind of a hard game to play these days, because system incompatibilities. One of the times that I started playing this over 10 years ago, I went as a human noble. And when you are a human noble, you are of the Cousland family. And you join the Grey Wardens after your entire family is murdered, after the castle or whatever is invaded and taken over by the Howes. So that's where that comes from. And that was also the because maybe he was trying to take it back because it was taken from his father. I don't know. But yeah, that is it for the Codex. Again, I thought there was more, but fair enough. If you liked what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Maybe tap that notification bell to get notified every time I upload. See you on the flip side. Elisa out.